Hey everyone, it's Martina with Sales Leadership Management for Dummies. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate all the feedback and the comments from last week's podcast. I truly find that really cool that you guys are actually listening, and a lot of you are giving me some really positive feedback, and that's really super cool. So I'd love to hear your feedback this week. By the way, don't forget to like the podcast and subscribe so that way you can know whenever I'm doing my podcast. Typically, I like to do it on Sundays. Once in a while, I skip a week. But, anyways, this week, I would like to have a discussion about, and it's kind of really cool because I've had several people talk about this, and I've had several salespeople, including a couple managers, reach out. And kind of curious on where the shift is happening to where why are companies losing good employees? Why is it that companies seem to think they're better than they are, but yet they can't keep good, valuable employees? I mean, I've seen people that have worked for companies for 15, 20 years, and just by the change of upper management, they said, I can't do this anymore. So they're leaving, right? It's kind of amazing. But yeah, it's just kind of one of those things that you wonder why, people are leaving. But companies with little or no advancement opportunities typically lose their top talent, right? Just because you're a top talent doesn't mean that you're not promotable. Just typically means the managers are too stupid to promote you because they don't want to have to train somebody to do your job, instead of thinking that if they promoted you, that you could help teach those people to do the job. Because obviously, if you're doing it really well and you've been there for a long time, you may know a few things. But management is getting away from that, right? Upper management. You know, employers are having a hard time keeping good employees. Most companies have poor company culture. Most of them don't have any culture at all anymore. None. They have you come in for meetings. There's just no culture. There's no camaraderie. There's no culture. So it's just like you just are a number in a seat. And, that's another reason why they're probably losing good employees. I mean, if there's no culture, what the hell are we sitting here for, right? Just to listen to them talk. Been listening to them talk for years, haven't learned anything from them yet, you know. And, they don't have any culture. Culture could be little things. Hey, let's just put out some snacks. Hey, how about some beverages? How about some coffee? Now they have you sit there. They're so cheap, so afraid to spend 20, 30 bucks on some snacks. I can go into a customer's house, a stranger, and they offer me at least a beverage, and most of them offer me a snack as well. That's culture. Hey, how are you doing today? Here's some snacks. We're going to have a meeting today. They don't think about that. No. They'll hold you there for 2 or 3 hours to discuss something, not realizing, that you might get thirsty during that conversation. So they have no culture. They're getting cheap. They're cheap bastards these days. Poor company culture, and what's the definition of that? Also, it's shared beliefs and values, attitudes, and behaviors that define the character of a big organization or even a small organization. But gratitude starts at the bottom and works its way up. In order for me to be successful, I have to remember everybody who's below me to treat them even better, so that way they want to rise up and be good, right? But companies aren't doing that anymore. They don't have any culture. Here's the big one that I like, and I don't like, but it's so true, and it's so true in so many organizations across the board. And that's the lack of growth opportunities from within your organization. Now let's think about that. Let's repeat that. the lack of growth opportunities within your organization. And it's not that there's a lack of growth opportunities. Is that the managers and the upper management and all the powers that be, they don't look within their own organization to see who can be promoted. Not only by promoting someone from within, it shows the other employees that this too can happen to them, right? I worked for a major security company, and those of you who know me, you know which company it is. Starts with an A, and it's not ADT, just to tell you. So anyways, I worked for this organization, asked to be promoted. While I was there, I never seen anybody from within the organization get promoted. I was there 4 years. Not one employee from within, now listen to what I'm saying, this is important. Not one employee within the organization got promoted at this damn company. The only person I saw that got promoted quit as a sales manager, quit. They said, I'm out, I'm done. They quit. Want to know what happened next? Yeah. They brought him back as a general manager. He had to quit first, though, to get their attention. Yeah. Amazing, right? Yeah. But don't worry. He quit that job, too. They didn't promote anybody from within to promote him into sales managers or into general managers. No, of course they didn't. There's plenty of people qualified there, though. Plenty of people. They put an ad out on the job boards for like Indeed and Monster and stuff like that to look for somebody for those positions. So they weren't going to promote somebody. So let's really think about this. They weren't going to promote somebody within their organization who knew their processes, knew the company backwards and forwards, and help bring them up and train them for management. No, because that's not how companies think. They go outside to bring in a manager, which therefore you've now shown the rest of your employees that this company is not worth working for because there is no growth opportunities. And I'll give you an example. Martina, do you think you're being a little harsh? No, I'm not. I actually applied for a position for management for this company. The VP or the director of VP of that location told me point blank, we will never promote you, Martina. Never, never, never. Why, you ask? Was I a bad employee? No, I wasn't a bad employee. Did I not show up for work? Of course I showed up for work. I was in sales. Was I not hitting my numbers? No. On an average month, I doubled the company's quota. Yeah. So for that reason alone, they said they would not promote me because my numbers were too valuable to the company and to their sales team, and they could not afford to lose their numbers. Now let that sink in. Been doing this for a really long time, but I was not promotable because they were so small-minded. Instead of thinking she could teach other people to do what she's done and what she does and what she's doing differently than the other salespeople that cannot perform to her level, she could train people to do that. Nope. Instead, they brought in a bottom feeder from another company who couldn't produce a quarter of what I produced. Didn't even know the business backwards and forwards. And this is who they wanted us to report to. Needless to say, That didn't go well. Not at all. Yeah. Matter of fact, most of the employees refused to report to this individual. The only people that would report are people that they would bring in and hire as new because they didn't know better and they didn't know what this individual didn't know. Yeah, so amazing. So needless to say, they lost a valuable employee because once I realized they didn't see my value, then why would I stick around? And I know there's many of you out there just like me. I've seen so many of you great salespeople and great employees that the manager does not see your value. There is no growth opportunities. And then they want to look crazy because they can't figure out why they can't keep good employees. So basically, what the employees are doing is they're working for these companies and they're just building their resume in hopes that someone else will see their value and they will find that company. But they're just becoming fewer and far in between for a company to promote from within and to see the value in its own employees that they have currently working there. It's nuts. It's asinine, right? They have very poor communication. Management doesn't know how to communicate with the people that are working or doing their certain things. The upper leadership isn't communicating with their management so that their management is communicating with their employees. So there's a lack of communication, which means there's a lack of understanding. There's a lack of me as an employee knowing the expectations if you can't manage properly. So therefore, it's truly a shit show at the bottom of the spectrum. So it's kind of funny, but yeah. Low employee morale. I mean, let's think about it. When was the last time a manager came up to you? Not in front of everybody, not on a sales call, but just pulled you to the side. Said, I just really want to tell you thank you for all that you're doing. And I just want to let you know it's being noticed. I want you to know that I appreciate everything you're doing. And then give me the list of what you think I've been doing. Man, the way you're answering your phone calls, your promptness on returning emails, the way you're working with the other colleagues. I just want to tell you thank you so much. And I wish I had more employees like you, right? When was the last time a manager has done that? When was it? They'll pull you in their office to set their expectations, but they'll forget to tell you everything that you've done right and how you've made them look better at their position. So managers and companies, you guys are going to have to get better at this. People nowadays, they're job hopping. They are truly job hopping. Back when I was growing up, and I know many of you as well, our parents were at the same company for 20, 30 years. They were there because of the retirement package, because of the growth opportunities. They started from the bottom, maybe in the warehouse. Then they moved over to delivering the mail. Then all of a sudden they became a leader, then became a supervisor, then into management. But they had all these opportunities in front of them and they knew they could do it. Now a company is lucky to have you for 4 to 5 years. Because by the time the employee figures out, hey, there is no room for advancement. They don't want to promote me. They don't see me as anything other than this. This is what I got hired as. This is where they want me to die as in this company. Right? So, yeah, the value system is gone. The younger people are not going to stay at jobs as long as the older people. Older people had a different value system, and they were working for companies 20 years ago that promoted from within. They had the value system. They had company morale. They had growth opportunities. They had all of it. They had culture. Now, companies are just getting too cheap, right? They're worried about the price of donuts instead of saying my employees are worth that. So let me go ahead and make sure while we have a meeting that we provide them something. Not that they can't afford their own donuts, but just to say, hey, we appreciate you. So you shitty managers out there, you need to pay attention because that's terrible. It really is. Companies don't do team building anymore. No. Because that would cost them a few $100 or a few $1,000s. And God help us if they had to do team building that cost them a couple $1,000s to really get their team to be cohesive and people to work together and to get to know each other. Because I can't imagine having the overhead of a couple $1,000s to make sure that my employees were working well together. See, they don't see a value in bringing you together and working as a team. Matter of fact, I'll share something with you that's funny. And I forgot to bring it in my office today while I was going to do this podcast. I was in a company meeting last week or 2 weeks ago. True story. We're sitting there. I drove 2 hours to this sales meeting. 2 hours. Been in this industry for almost 30 years. 2 hours I drive for this meeting. They're going to bring a trainer in from out of town. We're all supposed to be excited. He's going to give us this great wealth of knowledge, and we're going to do some team building, and we're going to learn some stuff. So I drove 2 hours. Have to honestly say, didn't learn anything at all. Matter of fact, he didn't try to teach anything while I was in the meeting. But however, he did come up with a team building exercise while we were there. You guys ready for this shit? Seriously? Are you ready for this shit? Look at the table, and there's spaghetti noodles sitting on each end of the table with a marshmallow. Yeah, a marshmallow. So a box of 89-cent spaghetti noodles and $1.47 marshmallows. Now, I don't know who got the rest of the package on the marshmallows. He probably took them around to all the offices so they can get their $1.47 worth, because he only used 2 marshmallows in our training class. So now I'm kind of curious where the other marshmallows went. But anyways, so his idea of a team building was to take salespeople that have been in this industry for many, many, many years, who already have a little bit of camaraderie together. We don't really work together, but hey, we were all in it for the team building. So he wanted 5 adults on each side to sit together and stack spaghetti noodles, those long spaghetti noodles, and put a marshmallow on top. Go ahead and laugh. I'll wait. Yeah. So he wanted us to put spaghetti noodles and stack them and put a marshmallow on top to see who could get that done first. Oh, and to make them tall. So you had some tape there too, so you could tape the little noodles. Here's the funny part. One guy goes, hey, I've got this. I know exactly how to do it. The other people were like, okay, yeah, so that's the best way to do it. So one person was putting together and shoving the noodles into the marshmallows to get it to work. He gets upset that 5 of us don't have our hands on the noodles and shoving them in the marshmallow at the same time. Let me explain something to you. That's not team building. My 8-year-old granddaughter could have stacked noodles in a marshmallow. Team building is something with camaraderie. You know, you could go to golfing, something that creates a team, right? Volleyball, bowling, something that creates some camaraderie in working together as a team. But adults don't need to sit down with a box of 89-cent noodles and $1.47 worth of marshmallows to stack to see if we can do that together. Because I'm pretty sure all of us know how to work with spaghetti noodles, right? But anyways, if your company is cheap and they don't want to do team building and they don't want to build morale and camaraderie, may I suggest you bring them a box of spaghetti noodles? Anyways, so I was going through my books today. I was really excited because I got another new book in. But us is whether no matter what your position is in a company, it's really important that we keep our minds sharp. Though we think we know it all and hey, we've heard it 1,000 times, it's always good, and this is good for management, to refresh, relearn things, rehear them, just reread them so the brain goes, yeah, that's right. I remember doing that. Yes. Oh, yes. And empower yourself with educational tools. You can't learn too much. And some of you really need to learn a lot more, even start at the basics. But I was just kind of looking at some of my books, and this one was a really good book. I read this one probably several years ago, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And it is Ryan Serfin's Big Money, Big Energy. It's a great read. If you guys haven't read it, get out there and read it. I mean, anything that you can soak up into this brain. Now, here's another book that I really liked, and I love this one by Tom Rath. Anyways, and a lot of you managers can use it. It's Strengths and Based Leadership. This is a really good book also. Very good. It's a very good read, and it's one of those books that you like to go back and forth and reread it. So this may be something you want in your repertoire, right? Just kind of something to work on your inner being. So that way when you decide to leave your company after you've built your resume, you're leaving not with knowledge of just of what you've done, but you've got knowledge on moving up to the next level as well, right? Now, here's another one that's really good. It's The Art of War by Sun Tzu, right? So this one here is really good. Now, actually, I've just started this one. So I'm reading this one. I've got a lot of the Brian Tracy CDs, or excuse me, back in the day when they were out on CDs, I bought the whole collection. I used to listen to those on repeat every morning while I was getting dressed. So always take things that you're learning and make yourself better no matter how good you are. Keep feeding this, right? Some of you managers need to learn to start feeding this, right? But employees, doesn't matter your position in a company. Start to educate yourself. It's so cheap. Now, I said The Art of War is really good, and I'm reading that one now, and I really like that. But for you ladies out there, believe it or not, this is a good book too. Act Like a Lady and Think Like a Man. Whoop, can you see it? Bam. Yeah, that one's fun too. Though it deals basically on relationships, but it also teaches the women how to speak to a man. Because we all know a lot of men get their feelings hurt when a person who's a female is in charge and they speak with the same authority as a man. So now you're going to figure that one out. Anyways, I really enjoy doing these podcasts. I look forward to next week. If I can help you with anything, feel free to reach out. Companies, pay attention. Start saving your best people. Start promoting from within. Quit putting shit out on Indeed, looking for an outsider when you probably 90% have one on the inside that would appreciate being promoted and having someone else see their value from in the organization. Nothing irritates employees more than when you keep bringing people in from the outside. Believe me when I say that. Otherwise, hey, we're just building our resume with you and then we're keeping it moving. Anyways, if you need me as usual, you can reach out to me at 469-338-8183. If you'd like to discuss any secret shopping, coming to your location and working one-on-one, I'm available for that as well. Again, it's Martina with Sales Leadership Management for Dummies. Until next time, see ya. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.